Now, after studying this module, you will have some basic idea of Raman spectroscopy. What is Raman spectroscopy? What are its characteristics? Now, in Raman spectroscopy, when radiations pass through transparent medium, the species present scattered a fraction of the beam in all directions. And due to this phenomena, Professor C.V. Raman got the Nobel Prize on this Raman effect. Now, there are certain characteristics of this Raman spectroscopy. The visible wavelength of small fraction of the radiation is scattered by certain molecules which differ in energy as well as wavelength from the incident beam of light. Further, the shift in wavelength depend upon the chemical structure of the molecule responsible for this stacking. The theory of Raman scattering shows that the phenomena results from the same type of quantized vibrational changes that are associated with infrared absorption spectroscopy. Thus, the difference in wavelength between the incident and scattered radiation corresponds to the wavelength in the mid-infrared region. The Raman scattering spectrum and infrared absorption spectrum for a given species often resemble one another and are quite closely related. An important advantage of Raman's spectra over infrared spectra in fact that water does not interfere in Raman spectroscopy and spectra can be easily recorded into the aqueous solution. In addition, glass or quartz cells can be employed, thus avoiding the inconvenience of working with sodium chloride or other atmospherically unstable window material. Raman spectra are acquired by irradiating a sample with powerful laser source of visible or near infrared monochromatic radiation. During irradiation, the spectrum of the scattered radiation is measured at some angle, often 90 degree, with suitable spectrophotometer. At the very most, the intensities of the Raman lines are approximately 0.001% of the intensity of the source. As a consequence of this, the detection and measurements are somewhat more difficult than infrared spectra. Phenomena of scattering may be viewed as shown in figure 1. Now, in figure 1, we are showing the monochromatic radiation. This passes to give the nearly 99% transmitted lines, and also the scattered lights. Raman scattering are shown into this blue line, and this Rayleigh scattering is shown by the red lines. So, with this help we can just give the explanation of the Raman spectrum. In this, it is the shift in wavelength of the inelastic scattered radiation that provides chemical information and structural information about the molecule. So, in this module, more stress will be given how we can get the spectra of the molecule in question. You will further know about spectroscopy and vibrational spectroscopy in particular. And in this module, you will learn about basics of Raman spectroscopy, find the differences between IR and Raman spectroscopy, learn about the polarizability factors which affect the Raman spectra, and also learn little bit about Raman spectroscopy, and also a block diagram of this will be discussed.
After discussing the basics of vibrational spectroscopy in the last module, now we will continue with the basics of Raman spectroscopy. When radiation passes through a transparent medium, the species present scatter a fraction of the beam in all directions. There are some discoveries given by Indian physicist C.V. Raman that are the visible wavelength of a small fraction of the radiation scattered by certain molecules differs from that of incident beam. Furthermore, The shift in wavelength depends upon the chemical structure of the molecules responsible for the scattering. The theory of Raman scattering shows that the phenomena results from the same type of quantized vibrational changes that are associated with infrared absorption. Thus, the difference in wavelength between the incident and scattered visible radiation corresponds to wavelengths in the mid-infrared region. The Raman scattering spectrum and infrared absorption spectrum for a given species often resemble one another quite closely. Continuing with some more basics of Raman spectroscopy that are an important advantage of Raman spectra over infrared lies in the fact that water does not cause interference and Raman spectra can be obtained from aqueous solutions. In addition, glass or quartz cell can be employed, thus avoiding the inconvenience of working with sodium chloride or other atmospherically unstable window materials. Raman spectra are acquired by irradiating a sample with a powerful laser source of visible or near-infrared monochromatic radiation. During irradiation, the spectrum of the scattered radiation is measured at some angle, often 90 degree, with a suitable spectrometer. At the very most, the intensities of Raman lines are 0.001% of the intensity of the source. As a consequence, their detection and measurement are somewhat more difficult than our infrared spectra. To understand the phenomena of scattering, let us examine the figure which clearly depicts the Raman and Rayleigh scattering. It is the shift in wavelength of the inelastically scattered radiation that provides the chemical and structural information. Raman shifted photons can be of either higher or lower energy, depending upon the vibrational state of the molecule under study. In this technique, a monochromatic beam of light strikes the sample surface, and scattered photons, which can be elastic and non-elastic, are measured at right angle to the incident beam of light. Photons scattered elastically is known as Rayleigh scattering, and Raman effect deals with inelastic photons scattering by the molecules. Coming to main difference in both, it is that the Rayleigh scattering scattered photons have same wavelength as that of absorbed light, but in Raman effect, the energies of incident and scattered photons are different. If the energy of scattered photons is more, that is, frequency is more than that of incident photons, the lines observed in Raman spectrum are known as anti-Stokes lines. And if the energy of scattered photons is less than that of incident photons, the line observed are called Stokes lines. Phenomena of Raman effect in a simplified energy diagram that illustrates this concept is as shown in figure. The Stokes and anti-Stokes lines are equally spaced. This occurs because, in either case, one vibrational quantum of energy is gained or lost. Also, it is noted that the anti-Stoke line is much less intense than the Stoke line. This occurs because only molecules that are vibrationally excited prior to irradiation can give rise to the anti-Stokes line. Hence, in Raman spectroscopy, only the more intense Stokes line is normally measured. Thus, it is also said that Raman scattering is a relatively weak process. The number of photons Raman scattered is quite small. The energy increase or decrease from the excitation is related to the vibrational energy spacing in the ground electronic state of the molecule, and therefore the wave number of the Stokes and anti-Stokes lines are a direct measure of the vibrational energies of the molecule. In general, basic physical realization is that illuminate a specimen with laser light, example 532 nanometer. Scattered light is observed in two forms that are as given. Thus, light experiences a Raman shift in wavelength.
Now, let us also see what is the difference between Raman spectra and infrared spectrum. The difference between Raman spectrum and infrared spectrum are not very surprising. Infrared absorption requires a vibration mode of the molecule have a change in dipole moment or charge distribution associated with it. In contrast, scattering involving a momentary distortion of the electron distributed around a bond in a molecule, followed by re-emission of the radiation as the bond returned to its normal state. In the distorted form, the molecule is temporarily polarized, that is, it develops momentarily an induced dipole that disappears on relaxation and re-emission. The Raman activity of a given vibrational mode may differ markedly from the infrared activity. Vibration is active if the change in polarity, that is alpha, is there. In case of Raman, it is due to the distortion of the bond charge cloud. Now, symmetric stretch of CO2 IR active is Raman active because during symmetric stretches there is a change in polarization of the molecule. That is, for a vibration to be Raman active, polarizability of the molecule must change during vibration. So, in CO2 we are saying that it is IR active, but in Raman it is only due to the polarizability that is the Raman active.
Going further, here comes the differences between Raman and IR spectroscopy. For a given bond, the energy shifts observed in Raman's experiment should be identical to the energies of its infrared absorption bands, provided that the vibrational modes involved are active toward both infrared absorption and Raman scattering. Hence, the differences are as mentioned. Infrared absorption requires that a vibrational mode of the molecule have a change in dipole moment or charge distribution associated with it. In contrast, scattering involves a momentary distortion of the electrons distributed around a bond in a molecule, followed by re-emission of the radiation as the bond returns to its normal state. In its distorted form, the molecule is temporarily polarized. That is, it develops momentarily an induced dipole that disappears upon relaxation and re-emission. The Raman activity of a given vibrational mode may differ markedly from its infrared activity. Vibration is active if it has a change in polarizability, alpha. Polarizability is the case of distortion of a bond. Taking an example of CO2 molecule, the symmetric stretch of CO2 IR inactive is Raman active because during symmetric stretches there is change in polarizability of the molecule. That is, for a vibration to be Raman active, polarizability of the molecule must change due to vibration. Also, the induced dipole P during vibration is related to the polarizability tensor by the equation P equal to alpha E, where E is the electric field and alpha is the polarizability, and P represent induced dipole moment. Component of induced dipole moment P along XYZ axis are written as shown. But for a centrosymmetric molecules, there is a selection rule which is defined as mutually exclusion principle. According to this rule, in centrosymmetric molecules, there will be no fundamental lines which are common in both IR and Raman spectra of the molecule.
Now, let us also examine that what are the factors which affect the Raman spectra. First of all, polarizability is the amount of the electron, that is atomic number. Polarity is proportional to bond length. Polarizability also depends upon the size. Molecular orientation with respect to an electric field, parallel or perpendicular, also affect the spectrum. Polarized is also proportional to 1 upon strength of the bond. Polarity is also proportional upon 1 divided by difference in electronegativity. Covalent bonds are more polarizable than ionic bond. Symmetric stretch undergo greater change in polarization and are stronger in Raman than asymmetric stretches. Homonuclear molecules such as chlorine, nitrogen and hydrogen are more polarizable. The intensity or power of normal peak depends in a complex way upon the polarizability of the molecule, the intensity of the source, and then the concentration of the active group. So, when we record the Raman spectra, we have to take care of these factors.
Let us now study the factors affecting the polarizability. These are as followed. P is proportional to the amount of electrons, that is, atomic number, bond length, and size. Molecular orientation with respect to an electric field, parallel or perpendicular. P is inversely proportional to strength of bond and difference in electronegativity. Covalent bonds more polarizable than ionic bonds. Symmetric stretches undergo greater changes in polarization and are stronger in Raman than asymmetric stretches. Homonuclear molecules such as Cl2, N2, and H2 are more polarizable. The intensity or power of a normal Raman peak depends in a complex way upon the polarizability of the molecule, the intensity of the source, and the concentration of the active group. Now, here comes the block diagram for Raman spectroscopy. A Raman system typically consists of four major components that are excitation source, a laser beam, simple illumination system, and light collection optics, wavelength selector, and a detector. The block diagram is as given in the figure.
Now, for generating reducible representation using 3n vectors, let us take the example of water molecule, which is shown in this figure over here. Now, on this molecule, we are showing x, y, z axis on each and every atom. And as generally we have explained in earlier modules, that is, if we take 3n vectors as the basis, what we do, we first try the number of atoms unshifted by performing a particular operation on this molecule. For example, let us take water molecule and perform the symmetry operation on this molecule and find out how many atoms are unshifted. If I perform operation E, all the three atoms are unshifted. So, these are shown as unshifted atom. If I perform C2 operation, only the oxygen part of the water molecule, oxygen atom is not shifted, hydrogen atoms are exchanged with this. If I take x sigma xz, which passes vertically through the angle, and only again one oxygen atom is not shifted, other two hydrogen atoms are interchanged. If I take sigma yz, which lies in the plane of the water molecule, all the three atoms are again not shifted. If to this I multiply by the multiplication factor, as we have learned in the earlier modules, if we take 3n vectors as the basis for representation, we get these are the characters for that. So, I multiply by these factors 3 minus 1, 1 and 1, we get tau 3n a reducible representation. This tau 3n can be reduced by following the standard reduction formula, and the results are obtained as given over here. That is, we will get this 3a1, then this one, and thus like this total will be 3a1, a2, 2b1 and 3b2. These are the total reducible representation we are getting, and this can be reduced into this, and this will be utilized further into calculating the activity of the Raman bond.
You are already aware of the concept of reducible representations. So let us now recollect some facts about reducible representations and irreducible representations by taking few examples. Let us take H2 molecule and make use of 3n Cartesian coordinates on each and every atom as basis for representation. The x, y, z vectors on each atom of H2O together with various symmetry elements in it are as shown in the figure. As we already know that the water molecule belongs to C2V point group, therefore the character table of together with tau 3n for C2V point group is as given in the table. Moving forward, let us now see that tau 3n can be reduced by following standard methods and the results are as given. Let us now find how many times A1, A2, B1, B2 irreducible representations are there in tau 3n. Therefore, it is seen that tau 3n equals to 3A1 plus A2 plus 2B1 plus 3B2. Since A1, A2, B1, B2 are one-dimensional, the sum of their characters for E in tau 3n, that is 3 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 equals to 9. This exactly gives a cross-check of our result. These are the results obtained by taking 3n Cartesian coordinates as the basis. We can also get similar results by taking bond vectors as basis for representations. Now, going to another example, let us take molecules POCl3, NH3, CHCl3, which belongs to C3V point group. Let us take POCl3 molecule. Some of the symmetry elements and 3n vectors are as shown in figure. As we know the number of symmetry operations in C3V point group, that are E, 2C3, 3 sigma V. Thus, the order of the group H equal to 6. The character table of C3V point group together with tau 3n is as shown. Hence, on using standard reduction formula, we get the results as shown. Tau 3n comes out to be equal to 4a1 plus a2 plus 5e. Total number of irreducible representations is the sum of dimensions of E equal to 15.
Now, in these modules, you have learned about Raman spectroscopy. You have also learned about a small difference between Raman spectrios and IR spectroscopy, and also the factors which are responsible for the change in polarizability. Block diagram of Raman spectroscopy is also discussed in these modules. Also, you will also have learned how to find irreducible representations of various molecules and make use of this irreducible representation in finding the activity of the Raman bands in question.